My New York with Bernard Tschumi. In this tour, we explore his own blue condominium in Manhattan's rapidly gentrifying Lower East Side. We first asked Tschumi about the building's distinctive form, which has quickly become one of the neighborhood's most recognizable features.
As the owner had bought the rights, the air rights, and owned the building in front of it, we could cantilever over it. The building is not a high-budget building. It's far more a building that uses the straight, standard technology that you use in the city. In other words, it's a concrete frame, no precast, no prefabrication, and hence allows us to construct a very, very simple geometry. I was trying to have something which had the strength of the obvious. Under no circumstances were we going to try to do frills, extra detailing. We looked at the simplest possible way, including with the curtain wall.
Tell us more about this curtain wall, which, I understand, was executed inexpensively.
In this view, you see the cantilever, the sky exposure plane, and you see the meeting of every one of the angles is actually done with a standard off-the-shelf curtain wall. The intention was again to prove that you could, with the simplest $55 a square foot curtain wall, get something that could be architecturally significant. The north facade continues, although that one is a party wall. We were able to continue with the cladding as the curtain wall with a spandrel glass. I think this gives a volumetric density to the building, which is one of its qualities. There is only one single material for the skin.
Bernard, situate for us this blue condominium project in terms of your overall career. How does it both relate to and differ from your other well-known buildings, such as the new Acropolis Museum in Athens?
Architecture is about the materialization of a concept. The concept is as precise, as clear as possible. In this particular case, we wanted to give a very particular expression that would establish a dialogue with the neighborhood. That's not that different from things we have done in Athens with the new Acropolis Museum in a very different type of program. Restricting the number of materials to only the ones that are significant. Never have details that are overly talkative. It's a precision which I care very much about.
Tell us about the inspiration for the building's blue, pixelated facade, which gave the project its name.
Well, you see the sky behind it. The sky is blue. That's our way to merge into context, right? It is a contextual building, after all. I'm halfway serious about that. The pixelation was also about the variety and the diversity of the neighborhood.
Speaking of context, the design did take some heat, Bernard, for not fitting in with its Lower East Side neighborhood. What's your response to that criticism?
Amusingly enough, some people said when the building was coming up, said, hey, it's not in character with the brownstones. Which brownstones? I also remember that in 1904, the City Planning Department proposed a grand plan for Delancey where all buildings were 12 to 20 stories high. Blue is 17-story high.
Blue was built in a time when a number of residential projects in New York were designed by well-known architects, whose association with the project was heavily promoted in the marketing material, as was your design with Blue. Talk about this phenomenon.
Only 10 years ago, the only people who could build in New York, or practically in the realm of residential, and housing, were generally very large firms having initials, for their names. Suddenly something happened. I always say it may have had to do with the shock of 9/11, where doors opened and a number of people who never would have been thought of being actors in that, making of New York City, started to be asked to do buildings. And I think this is very good. It has quite enlarged the vocabulary of this city.